Single while salute. I'm Lord Maitreya, the hip hop futurist. You're now tuned into the Super Longevity Institute podcast. This evening, we'll be talking to the Hiphop Trooper, internationally recognized cosplay personality that brings an exciting combination of hip hop culture and Star Wars. Stryder, aka the Hiphop Trooper, is the most viral stormtrooper on the internet. Even got invited to join Hiphop Gods Run Dmc on stage for a concert. The Hiphop Trooper spends every year attending as many cons as possible, and in between does countless fundraisers, charity, including a yearly 10-mile hike in his Sand Trooper gear, raising thousands of dollars. Just a few of his appearances include Chris Hardwick show and a festival music videos with the Martin Brothers, Cory D. Williams, and even the Black Eyed Peas. His favorite experience was appearing on Brown Paper Bag wine tasting with William Shatner, followed up with performing on stage with Vanilla Ice, and during his 80s tour, and co-hosting an event with Sir Mix Alot. Ladies and gentlemen, the Hiphop Trooper.
Bro. You done your research.
Yeah, man.
bless.
How you feeling today, man? Bro, I see you got the boombox in the back.
Well, I got one of a few. There's one of a few in the G room. Kicking back. D batteries on rotation, of course.
No doubt.
like we always take the remotes, the batteries out of the remotes.
Yes.
I take the batteries out of the boomboxes, man.
Man, yo, I mean, how I met the brother. I mean, I did a song, and he took it, did a video with it, and it was dope, man. And I really appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
I look to y'all for inspiration. Y'all was the inspiration for the record. All the boombox collectors all around the world, especially you, man. But let me ask you one question. Where are you originally from?
England.
Oh shit. Yeah. Is the boombox culture good out there?
You know what's funny, man? I just spoke to one of my best friends, Dougie, and he just told me he still has about 15 boomboxes in his garage.
Damn.
He's gonna break them out and show me what he's got. He was when I was growing up in England, Dougie was the guy who everybody wanted to be. He was lifting weights. He was riding skateboard. He had Jerry curl. He had a pirate radio station from his house.
Wow.
He was DJing. He was the guy. Whenever there was a party in my hood, he was the sound system guy.
Wow.
He was the Grandmaster Flash of Oxford, England. This guy did it all. He was also the Shaolin Fantastic because he did it on another level. And it's funny, I remember going to his house and he left me in his studio and I recorded a tape, which I still have. One side Jodeci, one side Guy. Because he had all the albums. He was the guy that had all the albums.
Wow.
And I was a kid, yeah, Dougie, the boombox culture in England, it's there, but I don't really know. I know a few people. But it's not like Germany or California, Russia.
Wow.
To me, Germany has the biggest boombox.
I've seen that.
I don't know. I kind of know why, because when I played basketball and I used to travel, I went to Germany. And it was in mid-90s. And I never forget going to a club and cats were breakdancing. And I was like, no one's doing that in England. In the 90s, nobody was breakdancing, man. And I was like, what's up with Germany, man? They're in another time zone.
Wow.
And I was just standing there this is dope, But Germany's never let go. Germany found the culture, whether it's through the military and people on the Air Force bases or whatever, and they never let go of the culture.
That's crazy. Wow. How did
big
you
up to Germany? Big up to everybody.
Yes, big up to Germany, yo. And I've talked to a couple of people from Germany, so I know you telling the truth right there. That you dropping gems. How did you get into hip hop culture?
You know what, man? I'm trying to think back when it really truly impacted me. And so I was a military brat. My dad. In my memory, I remember the most vivid is we were on Incirlik Air Force Base, but we were living off base in the village, where a bag of Doritos could get you anything you wanted. I mean, it was a village, bro. It was like Tatooine. These guys had seen nothing, right? So, and I remember my dad had a friend who had everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you were growing up, there was always a kid that had everything.
That's true.
His dad who had everything. And that was the era of the VHS tapes, when all the tapes came in them like book-looking, remember them big plastic things that would hold the VHS?
Yes.
They were plastic. And he had a room full of them, right? And he let me in there to pick some movies. And I remember getting Beat Street, Breakin', Crush Groove, Breakin' 2, all on the same tape. And he had another tape, which was the Fat Boys Live. I wore those tapes out. I was obsessed. I think that my when I really think about it, the Fat Boys was what introduced me to hip hop. And then I saw Crush Groove. And then I saw Beat Street Breakin'. And then I remember I went to Jerry Curl and I had the zip pants with all the zips in it. And my dad actually took me to get a perm. I'll never forget this shit, man.
Wow.
Cause I wanted the Jerry Curl to go with my zip pants. You know what I mean?
No, I had the same thing.
And I'll never forget this, man.
I had the red one.
It was burning, man, so bad. And cause I had the fro, and then they relaxed it. And I remember going to the park, and I was on a swing. And I remember just feeling my hair go. And I've never felt that. That was before the activator. That was just like just crazy. And I remember back then it was like we had one boombox in the house. I think it was this JVC. Not to touch it, but when my dad went to work, I took it out, and it was crazy, man. I'm always telling people, like, you know, you had your friends, you had your crews, and one person would get the cardboard, or if they were fancy, they would get lino, like kitchen lino.
Yeah.
Only one guy had the box, and he was the most important guy in the crew. And back then, that guy was not me, because I wasn't allowed to touch the box. And then another guy normally had the tape. There was always that one cat who had the tape. And I never had the tapes then. Because the only hip hop my parents had, Sugar Hill Gang. Yeah. And then what was that one song? It wasn't really hip hop, more kind of electro. Remember that song, White Horse? White Horse. You wanna ride?
Wow.
Ride the white horse.
Yeah.
Remember that shit?
Vaguely. Wow. You went back.
That was my jam back then. And
wow.
Really, that was when hip hop really captivated me. Then I was obsessed. I wanted my laces done a certain way. You know, my everything I did in life had to fit with a b-boy stance. Like, I was just obsessed. You know, breakdancing. And I remember back to England, I was in a breakdancing crew called the Hard Shoulder Crew. Wow. Ridiculous name. We all had these jackets with hard shoulder on the back. I don't really know what hard shoulder meant, but that was
me either, yo. Wow.
But, yeah, man, and it's stuck with me forever, bro. I mean, it's one thing that when people meet me, they realize is that this hip hop thing is not a gimmick for me. Right. You know, the Hiphop Trooper is just a way of expressing my love for hip hop to the world. And, you know, and I got, you know, and it's funny because the cosplay community, they embraced me, but they also rejected me. It was a bit of both. Because even though, like, I don't consider, I've been doing this for 10 years now. I don't consider myself a cosplayer as such, because no disrespect to the cosplayers. They're amazing. Their talent is off the charts. They're constantly reinventing themselves. And Spider-Man today, they're Batman tomorrow. Right. I'm the hip hop
characters. Right,
you know, like, I'm not in armor. I'm still the hip hop trooper.
Right. No, I can dig it.
Stuff. But yeah, man, it's like, so, you know, hip hop is, to me, not a gimmick. You know, I take it very seriously, and that's why when everything I do, I represent to the fullest, and I never disrespect the culture. Man.
Yeah, I see that
all the way. You know.
Let me ask you, what did you like about Star Wars that made you create the Hip Hop Trooper?
Well, see, growing up, you know, I grew up in the era of the Star Wars figures and figurines and imagination. And it's weird because I used to behead Star Wars figures. I would like pop the heads off stormtroopers, and I would put other Lando Calrissian, for instance. My favorite stormtroopers growing up. The one that was favorite was I took the head off a stormtrooper and I put Lando Calrissian on it. Black stormtrooper. And he was the coolest for me. I don't know where he is now. He's probably buried in the sand somewhere. Some kid's gonna find him, and some UFOs are gonna find him one time. But I was just like everybody back then. It was just Star Wars was cool, man. It was this new thing, this new movement, And the new generation is different vibes.
Yeah.
We were growing up.
It
was kind of sacred, and
it
was cool, and it was. But it was also, one time I got into a debate with some Star Wars heads, like real purist Star Wars, who tried to say hip hop and Star Wars don't go together. Well, they obviously don't listen to hip hop, because if you take hip hop from the 80s, there's Star Wars references in everything, bro. You know what I mean? Those cats grew up just like we did. And Star Wars was the shit back then, So I can't imagine there's not many albums back in the 80s, early 90s that don't reference Star Wars at some point.
Yeah.
Even today,
My mother, the only time my mother let me stay home is to watch Star Wars. One time in all my childhood, it was to watch Star Wars.
Yeah, man. And
For real.
I remember I always was just the kind of like Star Wars, the freedom of expression, like the whole good versus bad. It's basically a wizard movie. Good versus bad. It was just, it captivated me. When I, and I wanted to be a stormtrooper as long as I can remember. I was obsessed by the sound they made when they was walking through the corridors. Now I don't make that sound.
Right. My
sand trooper does. But Hiphop Trooper, I cut it in such a way that I can walk normal. It's not this awkward militant like bop. Like when I walk normal. I'm carrying boomboxes. Some of them weigh up to 50, 60 pounds.
Yeah, they're heavy.
So I can't be all stiff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have to walk like I normally walk. So
yeah,
I was just obsessed by the sounds they make walking through the corridors. And I was like, I want this.
Wow, that's crazy. Who made the costume for you?
Well, I have multiple versions.
Wow.
So going back to the very, very first Hiphop Trooper, I bought a set of armor. Like it was like almost like a Halloween costume. It came in a box, stormtrooper. And this is like almost 11 years ago now. And put it on. It was a little clunky, didn't really fit properly, but I didn't really know no difference. Now, I didn't know there were Star Wars communities around, Star Wars groups that did this very well. So I went to Dragon Con, and I remember kind of getting laughed at by other stormtroopers because, even though I'm a grown man, it felt like I was 8 years old again, and I showed up at school with terrible shoes on and outfits. And then I remember going back home, and that was the night I created the Hiphop Trooper, because I remember I just got this Lasonic when they re-released the 93 boomboxes. I got one of those from Urban Outfitters, the Bluetooth ones.
Yeah.
So I was playing it all the time, and I remember looking at it, and I was like, the convention had no music. It was just people walking around, hanging out, drinking and stuff. So I was like, I'm going to take my boombox back. And I was like, I'm going to wear this suit, but I want to change it. And I remember watching Beach, and there was a toss-up between red or blue. But I never had time. So what I did is I had white armor, and I got tape, and I put stripes on it. No, first I printed out all this graffiti, like "Word Up" and "Yo" and Yo MTV Raps. I had it all over me, and I put it on. I looked in the mirror, and I looked ridiculous. I looked like a Christmas present. And I spent another 3 hours scrubbing it off, right? And then I went simple. I just was like, you know what, Run DMC Flex. I'm just gonna put stripes. And at the time, I had a Congo logo on my helmet, and big ass dookie chain, which scratched everything up. And grabbed my boombox, went back to the convention. And that's pretty much, it was just, we partied till like 5 in the morning, 3 days straight. I was the only person with music. And that's really when Hiphop Trooper was created. And then the following year, I built my Sand Trooper. Then I redid the Hiphop Trooper. And now I have almost 4 versions of my costume. And basically I get molded parts from various people. And I get it, sand it down. I have to cut it, shape it. And then also I do all my own painting and logos.
Wow.
So basically, I do everything myself.
That's crazy.
And I've got better and better as years go on. I paint my armor a couple times a year.
Wow.
And just I go back, I repair parts, redo it, and
Wow.
because it's very different. Like I said, it has to be flexible for me and my size. Like I'm kind of, I'm 6'3",
Wow.
215. Most guys that stormtroopers kind of short,
Mm.
and they don't carry boomboxes.
That's true. You ain't lying.
Yeah.
It's crazy because one of my friends, her name is Tanya. She seen your armor, and she seen you doing your thing, and now every Halloween she's dressed in a white stormtrooper. Her
That's
name is
cool.
Tanya. Shout outs to Tanya, yo. And my boy
Shout
Sean
out
was
Tanya.
like, you interviewing Hiphop Trooper? I got one of his figurines. I said, yeah, yo, tune in.
Yeah,
I was like, tune
right.
in, yo. He's coming on, yo. He was like, yo, them joints is dope. He said he got a couple of them joints. Yo, shout outs to Sean, yo.
What's up, Sean? Much love, man. Big up.
Yes, yo, good looking, yo. What do you love about the boombox the most? Like,
For me, honestly, man, I'm like, because I have vintage boxes as well as custom boxes and modern boxes. The boombox is a personality in itself.
yeah,
Like, and it's something that I've discovered with what I do is that people love music, but music has become very personal over the years. It's about the
yeah,
headphones and the beats, and people don't share what they like they used to. They share
they
stuff on
don't,
social media, but they don't share nothing in real life.
they
They don't share love.
don't.
Everything is shared on social media. So when I've got music, it's funny because I always tell people when I show up, everyone goes, Hiphop Trooper's here. But I'm in my head, I'm like, no, you're here.
Right,
If you look at a lot of my videos, I crank up the music and I stand back and I let the people do their thing.
right.
Seeing people interact, complete strangers just start dancing, then you got ciphers going on, and everyone's having a good time. And it all comes from the boombox, And I love that I always say I've got some boxes that are 1,000 watts. Great, I can rock the house with those. The old boxes from the 80s. I mean, you're never going to be the loudest in the room, but you're going to be the coolest. The buttons, knobs, the switches, the dials, and some, half of the old boxes, half the shit says the words, hyper surround sound, all these words mean absolutely nothing. They just say all this stuff, you know what I mean? Like, ultrasound and
Yeah.
what's my favorite? My favorite is there's one word. It'll come to me in a minute.
Okay.
But the old boxes, man, there's so much history. I wish every time I get a box from the 80s, I wish it had like a history, almost like a car. I want to know every owner. I want to know where it came from. Where was this box when it came out? Who had it first? How did it now get to me in 2024? It's kind of just like it's art, man. It's art.
Yeah, it is. I always wanted a boombox with some wood panel in it. I seen some on the line. I said, oh shit, it has wood panel in it. I said they was getting busy with the boombox. I didn't live in that. I mean, I was too young. I had boombox. I ain't have nothing elaborate with, like that though. I ain't gonna front. I wasn't carrying. You had to have some kind of juice and money to be walking around with in the Bronx, the South Bronx.
And cats
You
would
had
get
to have,
robbed.
huh?
The more prestige the box was, you could get robbed for those things.
Yeah, it was dangerous carrying those boxes. And people did it, and then the batteries was mad expensive. You had to go and get 10 batteries. The battery companies was living. They was getting paid.
Battery prices ain't got no cheaper, man.
They didn't, yo. They not coming down.
If I go down to TVS and buy 20 batteries, you're looking at like $30.
Yeah, man, they're expensive. And I seen some cassette tapes, and they were selling cassette tapes in the deli a couple of months ago. That messed my head up. And in a dollar store, I seen cassette tapes popping up. I said, "Oh snap! They're starting to sell cassette tapes again."
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
How many?
So it's so funny. Like lately I've been making a lot of my own cassettes again. So I've been basically hooking up the aux cable to the back of the boxes and just recording cassettes and then just playing. Instead of playing the MP3, I just play the cassettes. There's something about like you have a greater appreciation for the artist and music when it's on a cassette. Same with vinyl, because I grew up in an era where you press play and you enjoy.
Right.
And by the end of the week, you know the words to every single song on the album.
That's true.
Now I'm guilty of it, just like everybody else. I get a new album, and you just flick through the MP3s.
Right.
You just flick through them. You know, you don't let it ride like you used to. You know.
No, you don't.
You know, and that's what I love about when I'm doing my thing, and especially if I have a vintage box, or even one of the newer boxes, I just make a playlist and I let it ride.
Right.
Let it ride, man, and just enjoy the music. You know, I do it sometimes with my wife. We hang out, or we go in the backyard. Not so much now because it's not quite summer anymore. But I bring all these cassettes out, and it's funny, man. They don't last that long. It's like one side click, turn it up, another side click, put another one on, and we just start listening to albums, man. Like you said, I go to thrift stores and I find all these old albums for a couple bucks. I buy them all, man.
How many boombox do you own? You think?
I think 27.
Damn, that's a lot.
Yeah, and I think out of the 27, about 18 customs.
Damn.
The rest are, vintage. Yeah, and out of all my vintages, like about 10 work fully. The rest are kind of, finding someone to fix them, man. Like they come on video and stuff, but the tape won't work, or chew up the tape, or but it's just you can find them on eBay, and they could be in working order. But by the time FedEx gets that to your house, one little drop, and those things are like jigsaw puzzles in the middle. One dial, spindle, one bout falls off, the whole thing falls apart.
Yeah, they build so masterfully.
Yeah, you give it a boombox, man. You open a new box, like a modern day box. There's like a circuit board and some wires and some speakers. You open an old box, man. It's like 15 train sets all in one box. You're just like, stop, man.
Wow. If there was a new boombox company forming, what features would you like to see in the boombox?
I'm going to hold that conversation for another day, and I'll tell you what.
Okay.
I've got something in the works.
All right. Okay.
So I got something in the works. And when the logo is ready.
Why?
I've got some people. I've got a few friends of mine. We all chipped in, and we got something coming. And it's basically going to be the new box for the old heads, and it's gonna come from the heart. We might make 100, we might make 1,000. Who knows? But we're not in it to get rich. We're making it for the love of hip hop. And there's a lot happening right now in the market for nostalgia, and people are just getting over on people. Yeah. And we're trying to make a product that has all the elements that we really want, but also that does everything basically. So stay tuned, man. As soon as COVID slowed everything down, but when things get back up to normal again, you'll be the first to know. We can do this all over again.
Wow, that would be dope. Well, y'all heard it here first, yo. If he comes out with a boombox, that's gonna be crazy. That's gonna be crazy. What's your favorite boombox? What's your favorite vintage boombox?
It's got to be the J1 Super Jumbo, man. Do the right thing. Radio Raheem. Gotta be, bro. Hold tight.
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Yeah. This one right here,
Damn.
baby. Yes. J1.
Yo.
You already know, man.
Yo, wow.
This is the one. J1 Super Jumbo. Let me tell you something. When Do the Right Thing came out, right, I remember just being obsessed with this box. Like every Radio Raheem scene was my favorite, and obviously my least favorite, because I would watch the movie repeatedly, but I would never watch the end because it upset me too much.
Yeah.
So it's like, which is crazy because I watched it recently. My wife has never seen it, and it's so crazy how it relates to what's really going on now. You know what I mean? It's like this story, as you know, as a black man in America, it's not a new story. But it's not a story that everybody talks about. And now the cell phones are out. It's more out, more so. And in 2020, no one's got nothing better to do than sit on their phones all day. So everything's spread it out more. So the world is aware of what's really been going on.
That's right.
And that scene just I mean, that movie as a whole inspired me huge.
Nah, I could dig it because you know, and it's funny because Radio Raheem, he had his boombox. The cops killed him. I think he'll do the right thing, but they slowly started attacking the culture in New York City. But you can't bring your boombox on the train. There's a slash going through the boombox when you come on the train. There's a slash. Yeah. I always look at that when I'm on the train, like, damn, this is messed up, yo. We in a different time. They killed the spirit. They killed the spirit. They literally, you can bring your dog on a train. You can bring like 3 or 4. Somebody had 3 or 4 big ass dogs. They bark. They make noise. It was 3 big dogs. I was looking at them like, yo, this is not right. You know what I'm saying? This is not right. You take the boombox. We can't carry our boombox on the train and play it. But they can have dogs on the train, 3 or 4 of them. Anyway, I would like to see more boomboxes on the streets. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that playing music freely like that, it constitutes. You have to have a free spirit to do that type of thing. You know what I'm saying? That comes with that's a different level. Like the other day, I was on a train, man, and this dude came on. He had a speaker pill. I got so angry. It was like a gut. It's not his fault. It was like a gut reaction. I was like, oh. Then he was swinging it. I was like, yo, bro, don't swing that speaker pill my way, please. Get yourself. And my mind, people was looking at me like, what is he so upset about? I was like, when we came up, we had boombox. He has a speaker pill.
Yeah. Like for me, bro. Like obviously the 80s, early 70s, sorry, late 70s, 80s was boombox.
Yeah.
Boombox. Then 90s came along, and it was about car stereos. It was all about the loudest car. I remember my first car I bought for £500 in England. It was a Fiat Uno. It couldn't go uphill if you had more than 4 people in it, right? I got the car for £500. I put a £1,000 stereo in the car. Wow. I should have just bought a $1,500 car. But that's where my head was at.
You was just about the music.
So I always tell people, 80s was the boombox era, 90s was the car system.
Yeah, that's true.
And in 2000s, it became the ears.
Yeah, you're right.
That's
right.
So I'm always just trying to take it back to the 80s.
Yeah, man, that's the street light era. I call that the street light era, man.
Because no one even plays music in their cars anymore because everyone's too busy talking.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking now. Every now and then you hear a car, especially in the South. I'm in Tennessee, like Atlanta and here. They still kind of have the car systems going. And that ugly car you hear go past, it's rattling.
Yeah.
No sound coming up, but
yeah, yo.
You know what? Cool, But yeah, I always say the elements of hip hop. I feel, and then you had the standard elements, and KRS-One came preaching with more elements.
Yeah.
But they always leave the boombox out.
Yeah.
And if you really, really think about it, take the boombox out of the equation, and you lose elements. Because the culture went to the streets with a boombox. If no one had a boombox, it would not have went to the streets. You know what I mean? Like there'd be no cardboard box, no breakdancing in the streets. Like the art form of the boombox is obviously incredible. Like when you look back at the photos and the imagery, take boomboxes out of the equation, half of the elements are gone, man.
Yeah, you're right.
Because we all can't. We couldn't all be breakdancing in our grandmother's bedroom, you know what I mean, to the LPs on the record player, you know what I mean? It had to go out into the streets.
Yeah.
Therefore, you needed the boombox.
Yeah, you're right. I totally agree with that. Totally agree with that analysis. That's how the whole culture was lifted off the ground, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because other people heard it through the boombox. You know what I'm saying? You could it was portable. You could walk around with, you know what I'm saying? I agree.
Yeah.
Did you say? You know what? Did you say what was your first boombox?
My first one was the first one I had myself. That was mine. Was the re-release of Sonic that came out 2009. But in my house, I remember there was a Sony 3D.
That's right, you did say that.
Back in like 95. That was my dad's. I used to do all my high-speed dubbing on it. Had the big button on the top, high speed dubbing. And then before that, we had a JVC. This was back in the 80s, but I wasn't allowed to touch it. But I remember it, and I don't know what happened to it. Like, I often wonder, is it at my mother's house, where, like, it's somewhere. You know what I mean? I don't know where it is, but it's somewhere.
Wow.
Like, I just got the JVC M70, and it's not one of those, for sure. Because I like collecting the Japanese versions of the boomboxes.
Yeah, they went bananas.
The Japanese ones, they all have pitch control. You know what I mean? Like, I have a couple, and then so I can speed up and slow down the songs.
That's crazy.
And I never saw that on any boxes that were released in the US market or the UK market. It was just that Japanese market has the pitch control, which is crazy though, you know?
What box is that behind you? What's the name of that box behind you?
The this one?
Yeah.
This is the Magnum box. Yeah. I mean, it's this one, it works. My tape is jammed, so the tape don't work. But I love the speaker layout on this.
The speaker layout is crazy.
Yeah, like the grills, it just looks like very, it looks very Death Star, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this one, I want to get like that's why I wish I still lived in LA, because LA, I knew all the dope graffiti writers. And I want some graffiti on this grill.
Oh yeah, that would be dope.
All the way across, you know, color the buttons, you know, kind of make like the one Turbo and Ozo had him break it. One with the miracles across, because that one, the one they had was the main one they had was I forgot the name of it now, but it's like one of the holy grails, hard one to get. I've been trying to get one. I had a chance to get one about 6 months ago, but it was like a 4-hour drive. I never really had the money. And I was like, hard, man, you know, because these chances, you know, these opportunities don't always come along. It's like,
you're right.
But if I get it and I'm broke, I can sell it because everybody wants it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's the struggle of collecting.
What type? What was the name of the box? Was it a 77 sharp?
That's it. 776 sharp. That's it.
Yeah, that's the. Yo, I'll be looking for that too, man. Every time I never have the money when it's available though. I got to get on my job, man.
I got the Toshiba, which is similar, but I like the Toshiba because it has the pitch controls. It has the pitch, and then the speakers fold out, so you can make it into a home system. You can fold it back.
Japan was going. They was getting.
Oh, they were going nuts.
They were. Oh, Japan, yo. They were, yo. Tell us your.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tell us about your first experience at Dragon Con.
Yeah, well, it's like my first Dragon Con experience was just, I didn't know anyone. I just went on my J's, just went on my own, and I knew 1,000 people afterwards, man. It was just, the first day was a bit of a struggle and awkward, because it's my first time being around all these people in costumes. And I didn't realize they took it so serious. I didn't know it was a thing. I didn't know cosplay was a thing. Right. I thought cosplay was just a couple freaky jokers just putting on some costumes and doing some freaky shit. That's like what cosplay was, right? I didn't know it was like some serious thing. And then obviously I created Hiphop Trooper, went back, and it was, people still remind me that 10 years ago of that day when I showed up. And really that's when the Hiphop Trooper was born. And it was like, I had so much fun doing it that, and like I said, it was just feeding the masses, man, just feeding the people this new energy they've never seen. And it never was something I wanted to be successful doing. I always tell people, if I wanted to be really, really successful, like not have a day job, you know, drive a nicer car, have more money in the bank, I had those opportunities as Hiphop Trooper, but the opportunities that came that wanted to throw money at me, basically wanted to change everything I believe in. And like I said, I don't disrespect the culture. It's more important to me to put this suit on and be me than to do it any other way.
Yo, I feel you on that. I
always tell people with social media, especially within our culture, our community, the sad truth is ignorance boosts everything. Doing ignorant shit,
Yeah, it's true, man.
Like if I was putting on the Hiphop Trooper and running into McDonald's and blasting music and jumping on the tables, I would have millions of followers. Because that's the stuff people want to see.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna disrespect us and the culture just for the clout of these new. I don't even understand what we're doing anyway.
Right.
So for me, like I always tell people, man, Hiphop Trooper. I bartend. That's my job. Not so much now because COVID has really ruined everything. But Stryder buys the movie tickets. Hiphop Trooper buys the popcorn. That's pretty much how it's been for me. And everything I do financially with Hiphop Trooper, I find ways to generate the money in order to keep doing it. But I have to be realistic. Married. I have other dreams and aspirations in life. I can't put everything into Hiphop Trooper.
Right.
In terms of trying to be rich somehow. It's like this just doesn't work that way. I want to enjoy doing this.
Yeah, and that's part of our creed. Have fun. That's part of the hip hop creed. We've been saying that since I don't think the kids is having as much fun as they did back in the day. It just seems like it's just, it seems more dangerous. It doesn't seem fun no more. It seems like people doing things for the wrong reasons.
Everything's forced.
Yeah.
Everything's just forced, man. It's like I feel kids today do stuff because they saw somebody else do it.
Right.
But no one's really, there's no trendsetters. We've lost the great with music, bro. Like the new hip hop, I like some of it. It's not, I can't say it's all trash.
Right.
I can't say all old school hip hop is all good either.
Right.
I mean, you have to, but I do think the hip hop I really love is starting to really swing back around now.
Yeah.
This year alone, P dropped a new album. Nappy Roots dropped a new album. You know what I mean? Like Goody Mob drops an album tomorrow. Like
yeah, I've seen that.
Paris has dropped an album. Like everyone's just dropping albums now, and the new kids won't never understand it. But for me, it's just like But yeah, I think the new kids is just they're in a copycat world.
You ain't lying. You know what? You ain't lying.
It's copy and paste, man. From the outfit to the dance moves to everything. It's all copy paste. The hairstyles, it's all copy paste, man.
Yeah, man.
It is copy paste culture.
Yeah, we definitely. All those albums that you mentioned, man. Respects to all those gentlemen, because you know what we push at Super Longevity Institute is hip hop is for all ages. All ages. You know what I'm saying? Because they try to push the narrative that it's only for the youth. No, hip hop is for all ages, literally.
Yeah.
Tell us about some of your charity work. I love to see that.
Well, obviously I haven't been very active this year because of the whole COVID mess. But as you mentioned earlier, I think I've done it 6 years in a row now. The charity hike. It started off at Griffith Park. We started off doing like 6 miles, and then it became 10 miles. 6 miles. Wow. And 10 is like a staple now. And I wear my Sand Trooper full armor, plus the backpack, plus the blaster. I mean, I'm probably wearing. That's
incredible. That's like some army stuff. That's like some real.
Yeah. And I reach out to people. I get people to do it with me, which is great. I mean, the first time I did it, I was getting ready to do it on my own. I got a couple more Sand Troopers, and I just said, hey man, any troopers. I'm a firm believer that if somebody wants to be part of something that's for the cause, there's no rules or restrictions. Just show up, give it your best. You know what I mean? If you don't have a costume, or if you don't have a good costume, so to speak, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Come walk with us, come vibe with us, come be part of this. And then I've had a lot of action figure releases, money for charity, as well as what else? I'm trying to remember, man. I remember in LA I was doing so much auctions.
What's some of the causes you were fighting for?
St. Jude's.
Raising money for? St. Jude. Yeah, that's important, man.
Also, cancer research.
Yo, big ups.
Yeah, those were the main two. And then I had a lot of friends. 2017, 2018, get in a little bit of financial trouble, health issues and stuff. So I did a lot of charity raised a lot of money for them. I would do auctions at conventions, whether it's Hiphop Trooper merchandise or just I would get people give me gifts from all over the world, and I would just auction them off, just give all the money to whoever needs it.
Wow.
And like I said, man, it's just I love giving back to the community in whatever way I can.
Yes. Extremely important.
They have the best buddies here in Nashville, and I'm in talks now about doing some stuff with the kids there. And I remember, like, it's funny because so I've been a member of the 501st Legion for 7-8 years now, and not to dog them, but I'm going to dog them just a little bit because they are privileged grown men who dress up just like me, not just like me, but in the same kind of sense. But it seems like they do all these events throughout the year and they raise all this money and it's fantastic. But they never touch our communities. Never do. And it's like, it would bug me. And I don't know if it's out of fear or maybe they just don't think black people like Star Wars. Because I would go into schools and I would go to different parts of LA wearing my armor and entertaining kids. I would go to orphanages. I would go to all these places that would reach out to the 501st. And they would say, wow, you need to donate such and such money to this, that. And I'm like, but wait, these are charity organizations. They've got to give money to another charity organization for you to come out. And so that's how I really started doing my own in the community. Going back again to the whole, I'm not taking nothing away from cosplayers and such, but I was able to assemble a team in LA where they would come out to me to these places that no one else would go.
Wow.
And to me, those kids need it more.
Yeah.
More, because those kids can't go to Disneyland.
Right.
The other kids' parents take them to Disneyland. They see stormtroopers. Wow. These kids don't get to see stormtroopers.
Right.
And they don't get to see a hip-hop trooper. So when they see me immediately, they can relate to everything that's going on.
That's right.
Because the music, my kicks, the chain, whatever it may be.
Wow.
Funny story. I did a Christmas event in Florida. This was a couple of years ago, and they gave away. It was 20,000 kids, and parents were lining up around the neighborhood. They were sleeping in tents. It was like they walk in this like huge warehouse and get to help themselves to toys.
Wow. So
they flew me out there to hang out with everyone as they're lining up, and playing music, everybody dancing. And it was great, man. But some kids tried to jack me.
Wow.
Because this was a very, very low income area with a lot of low income families. I knew what I was getting myself into, but it didn't scare me. I mean, I grew up in an area just the same as that.
Right.
First, it was my phone went missing, and a kid ran off. And then by the end of the day, I had to have police escort me.
Wow.
Not my will, because even like the chains and stuff I wear, they're not real chains. They're not real. But I remember kids were surrounding me, and I could hear them whispering because I have inside my left ear, I have a sound amplifier, so I can trigger that, and I can hear more around me. Right. So if I'm not playing music and I want to get around with my helmet on, because I have fans that are on constantly, that's kind of loud. I have a sound amplifier that it's like a hearing aid that amplifies sound around me. So everything around me becomes very loud, and I can hear these kids walking around me going, I'm gonna grab him, and you grab the chain. No, I'm gonna grab the boombox. And I'm just standing there. These are like 7 and 8 year old kids, and I'm just like, I'm like, you think you can jack me? And they're like, what? And then the police came over and stuff, and I was like, no, leave him alone. Right. But it was funny to see that, and like I can't judge someone, from. It's kind of like it doesn't put me off. You know what I mean? Like I used to be that kid. I remember when I used to steal bikes. Me and my boys would put our backpacks on with huge metal clippers, and we'd ride around Oxford, go to the universities.
Wow.
Steal bikes, and there'd be like 4 of us. We wouldn't go home until everyone had a bike, even if it was a granny bike. Like one person would end up with this rickety bike, right?
Wow.
But we used to do it, man, and we used to paint the bikes and sell the bikes. And I remember in Atlanta, my wife bought me this real nice bike, man. It was like $1,000. It was like this 9-speed, like mountain bike / racer. My mother came to visit, and I left it outside our house that night. Now we lived in an apartment complex which was gated, and I lived on the ground floor. Couldn't really see, and I still locked it up. Woke up the next morning, someone broke the lock and they stole the bike. Everyone was going ape shit. My wife was like, "You gotta call the police. You gotta do this," and I just stood there and I was like, "That's karma, man."
That happened to me
you know
too.
I mean? Like, I'm gonna take that out because you know what? What goes around comes around. When I was a kid, I did that. I stole bikes.
Right.
And someone stole mine. I can't get mad, man.
Right.
I can't get mad.
Wow. That's a crazy. Wow. Oh. Let's see. Wow. Oh, tell us about your experience with the Black Eyed Peas.
You know what? The Black Eyed Peas.
I like the Black Eyed Peas.
It's a good one because, okay, so I got this random email. I get a lot of bullshit emails, and I don't reply to a lot of them. And I almost didn't reply to this one. And it was like, they're doing this new video, and they want me in the video. And what's my fee type business? So here we go. I get so many of these, and normally it's just for stuff I don't want to do. I was shooting in the strip club. That I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, right. I'm not with that.
Yeah. So immediately it's like, all right. So I go back and forth. Eventually they was like, no, they're gonna pay me. I was like, okay, cool. So I found out it was legit. Get to this studio, it's like a sound studio in Hollywood. Real cool, high tech studio, but multiple rooms and cameras and stuff. So I remember walking in this room, and it was I was in this room with all these models and like b-boys and artists. There was like a dude in a giant like robot suit.
Wow. And
then there was this girl who was spinning around the ceiling with like fire in her mouth and stuff. And they had a gorilla, real gorilla. They had like zebras and giraffes. They had like crazy. Where I remember I walked in one room and they were trying to put a gold chain on a gorilla, and the gorilla was swinging, and I ran out the room because I was like, "Shit's crazy in here, man." What is going on? So I remember being in this room, and all these people getting dressed. They told me to get ready. I got dressed. I'm standing there. It's like 4 hours. I'm just like, I was there for 17 hours on day one. I was like, "Let's take forever." And all these girls were like, they were so excited to be in this video. They said, "Hey," I had my helmet on. I'm just standing in the corner like this, and they like, aren't you upset that your face is not going to be in the video? And I was like, this is my face. I mean, the Hiphop Trooper is my face. I'm cool with it. Yeah. So then Will and Taboo came in. And I remember Will was the best because he kind of pushed everyone out the way. And then he grabbed Taboo and he's like, I knew he would come. Like, look, here he is, the Hiphop Trooper. And he's circling around me. He's like, look at the cassette tips. Look at the kits. Look at the thing. He's obsessed with me.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. And then we do the video, and there were some dope scenes, man, with me and Will and Taboo dancing, and it went into another room and another room.
Wow.
And so, and I remember towards the end of the day, they pulled me in the room, and they was like, okay, how do we get in touch with Adidas to clear this? And I'm like, I don't work for Adidas. Right. And all of a sudden, everyone was blown away. They was like, then who you with? I'm like, this is me. And they're like, wait, so Adidas don't pay you, sponsor you? And I was like, no. And they're like, I remember Will I Am was like, this is ridiculous. Like all these years, I knew of you, but I thought you belonged like part of them.
Wow.
Paid you, and this is what you do, and such as. I said, I have the free stripes because of Run DMC. Like, I have no affiliation with Adidas. Right. They know of me. I know that through sources, but they never gave me anything. Wow. So they were like, wow. So they got a bit worried. So we removed a couple of logos before the scenes, and but the video never came out. And there was apparently an issue because in the video a guy came in with 2 screen-used helmets from the Tron movie, and apparently they never had clearance for those Tron helmets to put in the video. they were basically like stolen from the studio and borrowed without asking.
Wow.
But that video must have cost millions of dollars because there was that like I had
excuse me.
I had an assistant the whole time who just stood next to me and said, "What do you want?" And I was like, "I don't know." So as the day went on, I started getting a little bit cocky, and I was like, "Chinese food?" She was like, "Okay." She came back like 45 minutes with Chinese food.
Yeah.
Anything else? I was like, it was just ridiculous, man. And but I've kind of kept in touch with Will and Taboo over the years. Like, it's like nothing but love and stuff like that.
Excuse me.
But if that video would have dropped, like, it would have been insane. Like,
Yo, Will, Adidas, Tron, whoever y'all got to speak to, put that video. Lord Betrayal says, put that video out. What are you doing? This is the time to put that video out. Please. Please. Somebody get in contact with Will. Put that video out, please. Thank you. I got to see that.
Someone's got the footage, man.
Somebody has the footage. Put it out. Come on now. Come on, man. I want to see that now. Now I want to see the video.
Yeah, that'd have been dope, man.
Man. That would have been crazy.
But what about cool, like, I think 18 hours, 17 hours I was on set.
Wow.
Towards the end of the day.
That's a lot. That's a long time.
Yeah. They had everything. I remember as I was leaving, West Coast Customs showed up with all the cars and they started shooting those scenes.
Crazy.
I find it hard to believe though, with all that money and everything that happened on that set, that it didn't get released. But I'm sure that's just what happens in the industry, man.
Yeah, that's definitely what happens in the industry. But y'all gotta fix that.
Yeah, things happen.
Y'all gotta fix that. Yo, that's not wasting money. If somebody has the footage, make it happen, please. Lawyers get around in the round table. Call Hiphop Trooper.
Put the footage out.
Call the Black Eyed Peas and sit at the round table and fix that, because this is right after the pandemic. Y'all can whatever y'all want to put it out. Put it out. I just want to see it. Seriously. Word up. What about Sir Mix Alot? I could see that too. I was like, in my mind, I was like, I could see it. With you with the Boombox with Sir Mix Alot.
That was cool, man. It was like a show in Riverside, California. So I was like the host / hype man for the show. Wow. I was like his Flavor Flav that night.
Wow.
And he was dope, man. And you know what?
Yeah.
One that that really hit me is I forgot how dope of an MC he actually was.
Yeah.
I remember in the beginning, we got there early, and he was like practicing, warming up, rehearsals and such. And I was like, yo, this guy is really spitting, you know what I mean? Because everybody, they know Baby Got Back and, Posse on Broadway and such, but those have become commercial successful songs. But just him alone as an MC, he's a beast, man.
Yeah.
The beast. So, we hung out that night, it was fun. It was nothing fancy. It was kind of like a hick bar in the middle of nowhere. You know what I mean? And
that's
people
dope.
would just have a good time.
Yeah.
They made 100 people in the room, but it was a good time, man.
Wow. Sir Mix Alot. Yeah, man. That's dope.
It was cool, man. That was a good time. That was like it was surreal, like I said, how dope he was.
Wow. Yo, man, this was a dope interview. I had fun doing this. I want to bring you back when you come with it, when y'all finish with the Boombox, developing the Boombox. I want y'all to come back when you have the idea. You can talk about it. I would like to know. I would like to hear about it. I like to come on the show and talk about it.
Like the name alone is just crazy.
Wow.
Like when you see the name and the logo, you know exactly what it is. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be dope, man. Like it's gonna be dope.
I'm hoping to see more Boombox period being made. Like your Boombox. I'm talking about like official Boombox, not the ones like I've been seeing. Some of them, I want to see some official Boombox, like the Boomboxes that the collectors mess with.
Yeah, it'd be crazy though. Like, could you imagine if but this is what's crazy, because if you look at some of the Boomboxes, like take the JVC MC, for instance. I think when that came out, it retailed at like $400, and that was like in '85 or '84, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, and it's nice to say, well, why can't these companies who still exist and still have billions of dollars recreate these?
Right.
The box will probably be like $3,000, man.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine the price of a box with the same components as a classic nowadays? The man hours they have to build those. Like, people have to sit down and build every box. It's not like nowadays just just bing 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 bing. Like, if you look at some of the old factory photos from back in the day of electronics being built in China, people are building those, man. They're soldering each part.
Yeah, I want. Yeah, that's dope. It's something that I always could see that. It's something about the boomers. I could see it on the assembly line. People making it. It's going up.
Yeah. Like,
in my mind, that's how I vision it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like
the boombox is ready going up this.
The only thing I can compare boomboxes with, true boomboxes, is the Rolls Royce. Because the Rolls Royce is built by hand, part by part.
Wow.
That's how voices are built. And you know how much they cost.
Right.
So if boomboxes were still around built the same way, bro,
that's crazy.
Sure. You know what I mean? Like, they will cost a lot of money, man.
Yo. Wow. You came and dropped jewels. What about, all right, I'm about to give out a little couple more. What about if they put satellite radio in a boombox and it had a dial tone? You could tune in with the dial. Instead of just digitally putting it in the satellite. Forget AM, FM. Yo, goodbye. Put the satellite radio in there and have a tuning dial. Tune into it.
It's nuts, man. It's kind of like, I grew up in the era when, I had to adjust the rabbit ears on the television set. Foil on it. I remember like hacking into the person's cable next door from foil on my rabbit ears, man.
Wow.
I remember like you said, tuning into the radio and like tuning that dial.
Yeah, man. Something about that.
And when you get that connection, it's so satisfying, man. It's like, okay, I got the connection. And nowadays, everything's so modern. You just press a button, it's done, it's there, it's for you. And don't get me wrong, it's everything we dreamt about doing then happens now. But I feel we take it for granted now because it's too easy. It's like these young cats dating women. They pull out their phones now and they're swiping and they're swiping. And they have no respect for women nowadays because guess what? The price, if women's body parts were, if you could buy them, the value is going down because they're everywhere now. You know what I mean? Right. It's like you can pull out your phone and see a naked woman and not even try.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, growing up, like, it wasn't that way, man. You had to really put in the effort. You had to you had to be romantic. You have to be classy. You had to have manners. You had to be, like, all of that stuff. That's out the window now, and it's a shame because women are competing against other women just to catch a man. You know what I mean? It's crazy now.
Yeah, I mean, and it's kind of strange that I'm seeing all the celebrities run to OnlyFans pages, which is kind of strange to me. And I think that the way men are behaving within ourselves is part of the reason why today things are so different. And now all you see, I couldn't believe how many people are making millions of dollars on. I would never pay for Only. They're making millions of dollars on OnlyFans. It's weird, it's strange. We're in some real strange times. And then on top of that, the strip club culture, it's like people don't even go out to nightclubs no more. They go to the strip clubs.
Yeah.
People used to go
I ain't gonna lie, man. When I lived in Atlanta, it was a weekly thing, different strip clubs. And I wasn't the type of guy to just throw money around because I never had it. And at times I did have it, I don't like to think about it because I wish I didn't do it because I need it now.
Right.
But
No,
I
could dig it.
Like, it was just the atmosphere, especially being in Atlanta.
Yeah, it's different in Atlanta. That's part of their culture.
You walk in and it's like you've been there for 5 hours, but you're like, oh wait, there's naked women here. I didn't even notice because you're just having such a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, strip clubs with buffets, free buffets.
That's crazy to see It's crazy to see a buffet at a strip club. That's crazy.
Like fire, man.
They was getting busy.
There was one we used to go to. I think it just closed down, but I remember they had chicken wings. They didn't have just like snack food. They had like wings and ribs and like.
Oh, they was really chowing down.
Yeah.
Yo, oh man, yo, Hip Hop Trooper, man, thank you, man. I really appreciate all the gems you drop, and I really appreciate the charity work and the stuff you do. I be watching you from home. I be like, yo, they're having a good time. I say, yo, Hip Hop Trooper's having the time of his life. He would show up on set with his boombox. People was going crazy. I remember you was, I don't know where you was at. There was some breakdancers. They was getting busy. With your boombox. I said, oh shit.
Yeah,
I said, look how much fun they having. I said, yo.
There's times, man, like when I've kicked off these ciphers out of nowhere, and these cats just came out of nowhere, and it's like I told you, when it's their time to shine, man.
Yeah.
I'm Terminator X, man. I'm just bringing the music.
No doubt.
Just here, I don't need to be Chuck or Flavor. I'm
No
Terminator X. I'm the one they least talk about, but I'm pumping the sounds out.
No doubt.
And it's weird. There's times I'm standing there and I can still do a little bit, floor work and backspins and stuff, but I can't do it in my armor. Well, I can. And people are like, yo, do it. And I'm like, you don't understand. It's good for you. But now I gotta go home and repaint everything, and I gotta fix it.
Hell yeah.
I'm over 200 pounds wearing a plastic suit. That shit's not gonna hold out.
I see you getting busy though. I see you getting busy, yo. I said, oh shit, he's getting down. I see you getting busy, yo. For real. I'm trying to throw a boombox meetup in New York City when this all opens up. I never see. There hasn't been one boombox meetup in New York City. How can you not have a boombox meetup in New York City? How can you not have that?
I know about the one in Germany and a few other places, but New York City, man. But this is the thing, man. Let's do this. Hopefully next year, Comic-Con. I've never been to New York Comic-Con. I've had so many opportunities to go and so many things to do. And this last one, I had a crew of friends who were like on the fence. I waited for them, and they all dropped out. Then it became a case of the hotel prices went up, everything went up, and I'm just like, and nowadays it's really hard for me to be alone and go to a show. And it's not because I'm scared or anything like that. It's because I get mobbed.
I've seen that.
Mobbed.
No, I've seen that.
My brother came to visit once. We went to a Comic-Con, and he didn't believe me. And halfway through, he was like, "Everybody stand back!" Like he was like, "How can you do this?" Like,
it's crazy.
And I'm like, so it's kind of like I'm trying to be more sensible by having somebody with me, like a handler or someone who can kind of like, if I need to go take a piss, they say, "Hey, everybody, be back in a minute." There's been times in the restroom and stayed there for like an hour, like, I'm not ready for this. Someone get me a shot. You know what I mean? Like, and then I run back out. But it's like, I want to go to New York Comic Con. There's so many people I want to link up with you.
Definitely.
And I'll set up a boombox meet. You know what I mean? I get cats to fly out. Because to be honest with you, I'm not interested in the con.
Right.
Like itself. Like, there's nothing on the con floor I haven't seen yet. I've been to so many cons. I've seen all the Funkus. I've seen all the Deadpool jet backpacks. I've seen the mystery boxes. I've seen it all. And it's amazing, yes. But I want to be outside with the people.
Wait, hold on, yo. Hold on. You go the Union at Union Square, yo.
I want to be outside with the
Union
people.
Square. It's the perfect spot to have a boombox meetup. Union Square, yo. Where George Washington's on a horse. And they got them steps right there. Union Square. I'm telling you, yo. That's what I envision. I'm telling you, let's do it.
Yeah,
I'm with it.
Outside with the people, man, and just the culture, and just truly embrace the home of hip hop, man.
Yeah, man.
But I've never took the Hiphop Trooper to New York. You know.
Oh, that's crazy.
So it'd be nuts, man. Like the last show I went to was Vegas. And then I did Mexico shortly before that. Mexico, and everyone told me don't go. Mexico's dangerous. You're gonna get killed. You're gonna get kidnapped. No, the airport was kind of scary because they go through everything. They ask questions.
Do. They have to. Yeah.
There's a language barrier. You don't know what they're gonna conversate. You You know, I had to show them, look, I'm at the show. Da, da, da.
Right.
But I was walking around Mexico City, man, Hiphop Trooper. You know, and it's the thing is, I have no fear because I'm not a threat. And people that see me normally it brings joy and energy.
Definitely, I see that.
You know what I mean? So I'm never worried about stuff like that. You know.
Well, you won't have no problems here. We're gonna have a good time.
Oh, bro, New York is
gonna have a good time, yo. I'm telling you, I'm really excited about that.
You know, New York would be crazy. If I do New York, man, I would bring a vintage box, but I would also fly out my diamond box, which is 1,000 watts. Damn. And once I hook that up, I don't like to carry the diamond box around because it's kind of thick. It's like this thick, but it's like a good size. But the sound on that thing, it is like, I have my Death Star Destroyer, which I think peaked at about 800 watts. You know, and the diamond box just blows that out. It doesn't blow that out, but it's way loud. I mean, the diamond box is what I use when I DJ, and I just bring that as one box, and I just DJ venues and stuff easy.
Wow.
None of my other boxes can do that because of the risk of me blowing something. But this one, I can go max. I can get my DJ controller and I can max out everything, and it still holds its own. It's insane.
Yo, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna end this right here. If you want to say anything else to the people, yo, I really enjoyed this. The Hiphop Trooper, you're gonna see more of him. If where can they find you?
Bro, just everywhere, man. Just Hiphop Trooper. That's it, man. Like pretty much every outlet of social media.
Okay.
YouTube, Facebook, Hiphop Trooper. Super easy, man. You know,
okay.
it's not the real Hiphop Trooper or Mr. Hiphop Trooper or whatever. Hiphop Trooper 1765.
We do that at hip hop.
It's all Hiphop Trooper, man. That's it. Easy.
All right.
Go to my website, hiphoptrooper.com. Find links to everything.
All right, y'all. We gonna head out on that note. It's a pleasure to have the Hiphop Trooper. I'm Lord Maitreya, the Super Longevity Institute podcast. And we out. One love.
Peace. Yeah, man.